Hey, what's up? This is your girl Diamond. I am Diamond Stylz, the executive director of Black Trans Women Inc. and host of Marsha's Plate podcast. We are going to talk about Billie Holiday and Audra Day and U.S. versus Billie Holiday. How is everybody doing? Hey V, how are you? Hey Brandon, how are you? I'm so glad that I decided to do this today after she actually won the Golden Globe. I'm so excited. Hey Deja. Hey Deshawn. Hey Tiffany. How are y'all? How y'all doing this Sunday? We're gonna give people a chance to come on in. Darnell, Bree. Come on, Bree the doula. I always wanted to be a doula. I'm lazy. I don't want to go through the training. Oh yes, yesterday was my birthday. I want to thank everybody that hit me up. I had a good time. Oh, let me show y'all my cake that Mia gave me. My daughter. Isn't this cute? Carrot, caramel, red velvet, and chocolate. So cute. I can't wait to eat the carrot. My favorite cake is hummingbird cake, but I think my second favorite is carrot cake. Have y'all heard of hummingbird cake? It's so good. I like a good carrot, but carrot used to be my favorite until I tasted hummingbird cake. It's very similar to carrot cake, but texture-wise, but different ingredients. Hummingbird has banana and pineapples instead of carrots and walnuts. You can Google hummingbird cake on YouTube. It's so good. That is my favorite cake of all time. I love sakatumi cake. Yeah, I like sakatumi too. It's not my favorite, but I like it. I love hummingbird. Hey, Android. Yes, so good, so good, so good. She must have been acting her ass off to get a Golden Globe. Baby, Mother Audra Day, sweetie, we was gonna wait. Hold on, it's only been 5 minutes. We'll give people time. But baby, she deserved, well deserved. How was your day going? Girl, I went through an apprenticeship to become a community doula because I am too lazy. The mentorship route worked better for my mental. I know that's right. Um, yeah, I took Vanessa to get other than a homemade version because I make a version that's sickening. But the best people who have a great version is Black Walnut Cafe here in Houston. If you are in Houston, Black Walnut Cafe is one on Memorial and it's one on Morningside in Rice. Audra gave what it was supposed to give. Exactly. Exactly what it was supposed to give. Let me see. Ungodly, hello. Did I miss anybody? Ang, hey Ang. Did I hear you say hey to Ang? Hey. We're gonna start in about 5 minutes. So let me tell you about my birthday. So Saturday night going into Sunday morning, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna do something tomorrow, blah 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 blah. But then I was like, wait, I feel like going out today. And so I was like, I can go party and it'll be my birthday, like after 12 midnight. And I was like, okay. But because we are in a pandemic, a coronavirus, I didn't really want to negotiate with my people, like my friends and stuff, the corona shit. Like, oh, girl, put your mask on. Do you want to go out to the party with a bunch of people? Because corona is real. And girl, I don't know. And then the whole negotiating, because we're in a pandemic, the whole negotiation about being out in the midst of corona with your mask and blah, blah, blah. I didn't want to have that negotiation. So I just went out by myself. And it was fun. I went to a lesbian bar here in Houston called Club Pearl. And it was perfect because you ain't got to worry about niggas. You can just, hang out with the bulldoggers and have fun with them. And it was pretty fun. We had a good time. And sip your drink. So that was the beginning. Then, because I sipped a little bit, I didn't wake up the next day until like 12, 1 o'clock, right? And then I went to Papados. Same thing. Didn't want to have any negotiation, so I went by myself. They gave me a little cake to put my candle in. I was getting all kinds of messages and calls for my birthday. That was so sweet. I lived. It's just so different now with the pandemic. I usually want to have like a gathering for my birthday, like I usually have like a dinner or something that everybody's invited to. But not having that to be with your people is kind of late. But I'm also somebody who don't mind doing shit by myself either. I do movies by myself, dinner by myself, da da da. I don't mind that, but for your birthday, you're supposed to be with your people. So I kind of missed that. But it is what it is. We're in a pandemic. Then I came home. I had a crazy ass, weird ass shit happened at the restaurant where they had deleted my name off the fucking list of reservations. So I waited like 45 minutes to get a fucking room, to get a plate. I mean, not a plate, a booth. But the food was delicious and I had a good time. I had a little good time. Then I came home and was talking to this boy that I had been wanting to hook up with. Hopefully, in the moment, I was like, hopefully, I'll have some trade on my birthday, and it'll be some new trade because this is somebody that I hadn't met yet. But I spilled my tea, and he didn't like my tea. So, but I spilled my tea to this other boy, and he did like my tea. So I might not have had no good birthday trade, but I did have some good birthday trade the next day. That's his life of a black trans woman. Sometimes they like your tea, sometimes they don't. Most times they like it. But, it is what it is. Please describe your Papa Do's meals. I need to live vicariously through you, please. My favorite Papa Do's meal is I ordered the salmon Alexander, and it is grilled blackened salmon with grilled shrimp, Cajun dirty rice, and it used to have like scallops on it, but for some reason they stopped putting the scallops on it, which was wild. I'm not used to that. Um, I had creme brulee and I had a cup of gumbo. So delicious. And I had a swamp thing to drink. Swamp thing to drink. And that was it. I said it was good. Y'all know. If you've been to Papa Do's. Papa Do's is always good for me. Mm. All right, so put a heart or a thumbs up if you have actually watched the movie. Like if y'all actually have watched it. Or, put a heart if you actually watched it. Put a thumbs up if you're going to watch it. That lipstick looks good on you. Thank you. This is Maybelline. One of those Super Stay matte lipsticks. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, come on with the colors. Colors of the thumbs. Colored thumbs, baby. Give me melanated thumbs. Yes. So for anybody who is, who's been living under a rock, there has Lee Daniels did a biopic of Billie Holiday, the U.S. versus Billie Holiday, and I'm not for sure, but I think it's like is it? Y'all let me know if I'm right or wrong. But is this a continuation of the series? Because they've been doing a couple of things: the U.S. versus O.J. Simpson. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this a series, like a part of that series where they bring in different directors to do that particular thing? I'm not for sure, but this one is U.S. versus Billie Holiday, and it's directed by Lee Daniels. Now, I have to admit, sometimes I put I'm not always necessarily a fan of Lee Daniels. I love how he always put the queer folks on. He always got some kind of queer spin on his on his films. He'll bring a trans girl in, he will bring a queer person in, and he queers it up. So I like that. And he don't try to erase it when it's appropriate for the culture, like people usually do in the past. But it is quite, it's hard for me to explain this, but I feel like Lee Daniels sometimes teeter on black trauma coonery. Sometimes like he's not as bad as Tyler Perry, but very like a more upscale Tyler Perry. Yeah, does that make sense? Sometimes he uses black trauma. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's kind of strange. Um Does that make sense? So I'm not always coming into a Tyler. I'm not always coming into a Tyler Perry. I'm not a Tyler Perry. I'm not always coming into a Lee Daniels film expecting to be amazed. I'm not always coming into the film. I'm coming into a film with a much more harsher expectation, like ready to slice it up. I am coming into the film ready to read it, kind of biased and ready to give it thumbs down. So I admit, kind of unfairly sometimes. So coming into this film, also on the flip side, Audra Day. That Rise Up song got on my damn nerves. That Rise Up song got on my nerves. I got tired of hearing it. So much so that I didn't look into her other music. It got on my nerves. It just was. It just got on my nerves. And so I didn't look into her other music. And when I would hear her perform, she has a voice that, and this is just personal taste. Of course she can sing. But there are some voices that I just don't particularly like the tone of. And I would say that a similar person, there's some nuances in their voice that I just kind of don't like as my personal taste. I know they can sing, and there are certain songs that I like that they can sing, but that I might like that they have in their catalog. But overall, there's some inflections, some tones, and some color in their voice that's kind of brash, or I don't really like it. And an example is Marsha Ambrosia. It's something not, I don't want to say they're not similar at all, but that is, as for my personal taste, their voices have an annoyance to me that I just don't like. It's a color, it's a vibrato, it's a way. Marsha Ambrosia is the way that she runs that kind of annoys me. Is unique to her, but it's a unique that I don't like. You feel what I'm saying? And I hope y'all understand that as a, it's not that it's bad. I'm sure I can hear her talent. I just as a personal taste for me, I don't like it. And Audra Day kind of falls in that category for me, where I know she can sing, I hear the talent, but it's just something about her voice that I just don't like. It's just something that's like, I don't know. So with all that, I say all of that, I went into this movie preparing to not like it. When I hear Audra Day, I was like, how is she gonna give Billie Holiday? Like, what? I was ready to be like, oh, she just got the part because colorism, which, I mean, how you gonna not be light-skinned and play Billie Holiday? But I was like, oh, girl, they just picked her. And they could have picked other actresses. No. I was so ready to read the project. But baby, from the first time you hear her start to talk, I was like, oh, oh, hello, Billie. Okay. Oh, she acting. I said, wait a minute. She's putting her foot, elbow, toes, knee, firmer. She putting her all into this because, baby, that's Billie. I was like, she's the tone, her way of speaking. I was like, oh, she really is doing this. This ain't a game for her. And it was an amazing transformation in the whole thing. So just from the first time we hear her speak and talk, I was like, oh, I was ready to give chops. Brandon, trust and believe. I was ready to give the chop. I had my card. I had my card ready to stand up like this. It's a no for me. It's a chop for me. 1-0. with I was just ready with my history with Lee Daniels and just my history with Audra. I was ready to be like, hell no. I was like, oh no, this is tired. They are ruining Billie Holiday's legacy. Stop touching our legends. I was ready, baby. Soon as the first, not even a little bit into, soon as she started talking, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and put my foot in my mouth. Because baby, it was so good. Her acting was so good. This is a small, unique surprise. I'm sorry. It was a small, unique surprise. So let's talk about some more expectations. Now, anybody who knows my type of man, I like a chocolate, pretty smile, beautiful man. So Trevante Rose is from Moonlight to even Bird Box. I was like, bitch, let me be Miss Thing from Bird Box, and this is the last man on earth that I'm stuck with. That's paradise to me. We ain't gotta go outside no more. I was watching Bird Box like, bitch, you lucked up. He the last nigga on earth, and you stuck with that, bitch. Trevante is the T. So, other than being short, but fine. So I knew going in that Trevante was gonna be I was gonna start watching this and be like, damn, Trevante's so fucking sexy. But the gag of all gags was that motherfucking Tyler James Williams was fine as fucking wine. I wasn't even paying attention to Trevante. Every time Everybody Hates Chris came on the screen, I was like, what? That's a grown man now. That's a yummy, delicious grown man now. Yummy, delicious. I was so gagged by him being so attractive. I was like, oh my God, I love him. I know he was going through some kind of medical situation in his life, and I guess he's over it now. But when he came on screen, I didn't pay attention to, not that I didn't pay attention to him, but he wasn't, you know how, what Jenny Jackson say, like a moth to a flame burned by the fire. Some people, their beauty on screen is like a moth to a flame. You see them. Like in Moonlight, Sharon, when he got grown and he got on that screen, you like, damn, Barry Jenkins really fucking showcased these black people in such a beautiful way. When you saw Trevante Rose on screen, he was fucking gorgeous. So, some people just have that. That's why they stars. Because when they get on camera, they have that, like, you can't pay attention to nothing else. Baby, I was paying attention to Tyler James Williams, baby. Every time he came on screen, I was like, he was looking delicious. So what is the lady's name? I liked her character too. The lady's name that played on Dynamite, that was introduced to us through Dynamite. She's Billie Holiday's friend. The plus size woman. What is her name? I don't know where my phone is, but yes, the plus size woman. Um, I liked her character in Dynamite, so I was wanting her to be have I would wanted to see her a little bit more in this film, but I like her subtlety, so I liked her. Um, and oh boy, Miss Lawrence. Miss Lawrence gave me exactly what I wanted to give too. So once I realized that Miss Lawrence was going to be in the movie, I'm so happy that they gave. I am so happy that they gave how Miss Lawrence played the character was so subtly gay that I enjoyed it. I didn't want him to be a queen. You knew he was gay in the film, but it was how I think gay would have manifest in this era of time. Yes, I know there's some queens, but even in this time, but I think during this time we would have saw it's playing in the background while I'm giving this. Miss Lawrence gave the kind of gay that I think that would have been in that time. Like it's a masculinity to it, but still a queen. And so for me, it was so subtle. Like he was a sidekick. He was one of the niggas that's in the room, but he was it just was a subtle queer. It was a subtle queerness. It was done beautifully. It was I don't know. I just feel like everything about this surprised me. And the acting was exquisite. It was beautiful. Um, the cinematic stuff that was happening was beautiful. Um, and just what they did with the story. So I am currently reading, and I know y'all seen him. I know y'all have seen him in. So recently, this professor of Columbia has not come out. I don't want to say come out. He has gone on a campaign with his book called Drug Use for Grown-Ups. And some of the conversations that are happening is he is a Harvard scientist professor who is coming out saying that I do heroin recreationally. And he has been studying drug use and addiction for decades now. And so from back in the 90s, as a scientist and a professor and at an Ivy League, yes, Dr. Carl Hart. And he has been talking about drugs in such a the way I feel like there's a lot of people who are saying little smart shit like, ain't no way somebody gonna convince me that being a heroin addict is therapeutic or something like that. There's people who are saying shit like that. But what he's explaining to you is drugs used properly in the sense of responsible. And even in the book, because I'm currently reading the book now, he's saying as a grown up, like if you're using drugs as a responsible grown up, not as somebody using it for mental care, not somebody using it to the point where it's destroying their life, not somebody using it to that, but somebody using it in the same way that some people use alcohol. Where some people take alcohol and they go crazy. It makes them beat people. It makes them do irresponsible things. They can't remember. They driving and hitting people. It makes them do irresponsible things. But if you're somebody that, I take a cocktail, I'll take a nightcap, maybe 2 hours before I go to sleep, and I'm not overly drinking every goddamn day, all day long, but I'll drink when it's responsible. I'm never not being late for work. I'm never being doing some uncouth things. I'm doing drinking in a way like everybody. I'm drinking. I'll drink a glass of wine at dinner, socially, blah 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 blah. If you're doing this particular thing, microdosing is key. If you're doing this particular thing responsibly, it actually can be a great thing for you, and you should have a right to do it. And so he has this book that is Never Do Drugs as an Emotional Crutch, all that kind of stuff. So he has this book that's full of science-based facts that he has proven, that he's in his studies about, addiction. What is addiction? Addictions literally is when you are so hooked on a drug that it's causing you distress about doing it, and about it's interfering with your happiness, interfering with your taking care of your needs. That's when it becomes an addiction. But if you're not paying your bills, blah 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 blah, you're doing what you're supposed to do still, and you're enjoying the drug use. His point is, to me, as I'm reading, is drug use should be the same thing like alcohol use. If done responsibly, it should be legal, and it should be a part of, if you want to do it. It should be recreational if you want to do it. And so, quite a different take as people, as historically we've talked about drugs. So there have been war on drugs in the 80s, but also war on drugs like in the 30s and prohibition, and in those areas where, heroin and weed and even like alcohol, in certain sense, there's some respectability about it. When we talk about weed and the demonization of weed, when it comes to Mexicans, and when it comes to Black people, and when it comes to the history of incarceration involving weed cases for Black people and Mexicans. What most people don't know is that when we talk about the facts around incarceration, on a state level, Black people are 4 times likely to be arrested for marijuana than white counterparts. On a federal level, though, Hispanics represent like 3/3 of individuals arrested on a federal level for violations, despite the fact that all other races use drugs at this particular marijuana, but most of the other stuff too, at a particular similar rate, and they also purchase them from their group. You see what I'm saying? They purchase them from their own race. So white people who use drugs usually are buying it from a white person. If a Black person uses drugs, they're usually buying it from a Black person. Most of the crimes, quote unquote, that happen intercommunally. It's not like so it's that same ridiculous notion of, Black on Black crime, as if white people aren't killing white people at the same rate. White people are usually killing white people, and Black people are usually killing Black people, and Hispanics are usually killing Hispanics, because we are in community with them. And when things rise up, as far as like anger, blah 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 blah, we're more than likely going to be harming somebody within our own race. But the crazy part is the minority people, Black and Hispanics, are the one who being arrested, who are being criminalized, who are getting punished for these same uses. So we've seen this kind of over exaggeration of criminality when it comes, this racist over exaggeration of criminality when it comes. And what this movie to me is showing us is Billie Holiday being one of the first people who, on a celebrity level, is being harassed by the government about drugs. This is and being, because growing up, hearing about her, her story was told like she was a tragic heroin addict, drug addict, and drugged and drugged herself to death. We lost an American great classic singer because she couldn't get control of her drugs and her drinking, and boom, it wore her out. But they don't give you the tea that they were planting drugs when she got clean. They were pushing people to get her unclean to be able to lock her up so she could stop singing that song, because she was doing what NWA was doing about the police in the 80s. She doing shit like that about lynching in the 30s. You feel what I'm saying? Like, she's actually being harassed by the government in the same way that NWA in the 80s did, in the same way that Luke, Two Live Crew did when it comes to censorship, in the same way, except with Holiday, she because of how recreational drugs was in this time, we didn't have, there was a there was a respectability here as well, but this in the what her crowd, like the jazz crowd and the music crowd, drugs were party drugs, just like we have now. Drugs were party drugs. And so it wasn't seen, like, I remember back in the 90s when I was growing up, being a drug addict for back in the 90s, people where I was from, people hid that. That was kind of shameful. Like, people, that wasn't something that they were proud of. Like, if you in a group or a clique, you know, that did it, then it's cool, but people weren't proud of it. Like, it wasn't, like, I've been into places where it was so common that they were doing it, like, openly, and I had never seen that. Like, when I first moved to Houston, motherfuckers would pull out a bump of cocaine like it was nothing. And I wasn't used to that. I knew people who did drugs, but it wasn't out in the open like that. And I don't know if y'all experienced that, but I didn't have people around me that was just doing it out in the open. You would have to hear about it through the grapevine. Oh yeah, she get high. Da 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 da. You would hear from other people, like people I were around. I would hear whispers around about people who were doing drugs. So I think sharing Billie Holiday's story from the perspective in the same way, it's like when we found out about COINTELPRO and Black Panther Party, the downfall of Black Panther Party. When we talk about them, now previously it was holding them up as almost perfection, but now they're releasing tape from the FBI. We're getting other accounts of the FBI doing things to inform them. We just got this movie, Jesus and Judah, the Messiah, Judah and the Messiah, talking about Fred Hampton, how it was an actual informant, Black informants who were actually helping them set this up. They were sending letters to different party chapters and really sabotaging, COINTELPRO, really sabotaging what they were building, this Black Power movement that they were building, these structures that they would steal. That's crazy. Structures of welfare that they would steal. Ain't that crazy? This is so crazy. They would steal the breakfast program, the WIC breakfast program that the Black Panther Party created, steal it, make it a government program, then in turn, when starting to use it, shame Black people for being welfare queens when using these programs. These motherfuckers are psychotic. Not that I didn't know it, but when I think of the thing of how racism and white people and the government, these motherfuckers are psychotic. They really are. Except back then, we didn't have the access to information like we do now. The information didn't move as quickly as it's doing now with the internet. So when we see crazy ass Ted Cruz say some ridiculous ass shit, when we see the Texas people after this fucking freeze say some ridiculous ass shit, talking about the Green New Deal and how it would have failed, nigga, that's irrelevant. The Green New Deal doesn't even exist. Why are you talking about that and not talking about your failure? These people are fucking ridiculous. Like but I'm glad that we have video. Because some of these things that we are seeing happening in Congress, happening in particular spaces back in the day when we didn't have the internet, when we didn't have television, when we didn't have things to push the truth out. We wouldn't get the information. We wouldn't know what's going on. Everything would be hearsay, or it would be spent and cleaned up by the time we get it. And so I remember, you know, even like back in the 60s and in the 70s, when we talk about, particularly 60s, when we talk about the effects of television and how it was very different. There's a difference when you have people who think they are good and think racism is good and think racism is fair, and these negative things happening, and then they actually see the dogs biting kids. They actually see them biting little girls. They seeing these motherfuckers blowing up churches and describing little girls' body parts in the rubble. Like when they actually have to see it, not saying that seeing it really mattered, but we're coming in a time of change where previously, not we are, but back then, previously, like we know that they lynching, particularly in the South, used to be an event. It used to be like, oh, we about to hang a string up some niggers. And it used to be an event. They would use the teeth as trophies, fucking use the skin, make fucking postcards from the pictures. Like they were ridiculous. So seeing it in certain areas, it didn't matter. They were so deep in the cognitive dissonance of seeing that the humanity and the wrongness, which I can see. They thought of us as cattle. How easy is it for people to go euthanize their dogs without being emotional, or kill a cat or kill a cow or kill a pig or kill something? It's easy for them to look at us as nothing when we've been like pests. And I remember a interview that I read, that I saw on where not Fannie Lou, one of these black interviewers was asking like a white racist, like what did he think if he didn't think black people were human, what did he think? And he said they're like a superior pet. Now this is back in the day, before any of these changes have happened. A superior pet. You know how people treat pets? I'm not talking about the ones that love their pets. I'm not talking about them. But the ones that don't give a fuck about their pets. They just have a pet for whatever reason, for protection or whatever they need the pet for. They're not always treating them good. So that's so wild to me. And so we see all of this stuff happening. Another element of the movie that it kind of didn't show me, it's just that it's a visual representation of. So we're talking about race and the growth of race. Do you see what I'm saying? We're talking about race and the growth of how we have grown as a race culturally, like as grown as American culturally, not as a race. Grown as Americans culturally. All right. And there's markers. We got Brown versus Board of Education, Plessy versus Ferguson. We got, there's like these markers in time and in history of, I know I'm all over the place, but follow me. Y'all know in 1937, it started off in the movie that a lynching bill was brought to the Senate, to an anti-lynching bill. One of the people that campaigned for that anti-lynching bill was Eleanor Roosevelt. And FDR didn't support it. Ain't that wild? Now, we know that Eleanor Roosevelt has tons of feminist history, tons of queer, lesbian things. Queer, lesbian things that in her history, it gets weird and stupid in regards to how this, the racist stuff, keep going, I'm reading. But She has tons of queer stuff in her background. So for her to be anti-racist and not want to do the anti-lynching bill, I thought that was quite interesting, and that the dude didn't even support it, and it didn't pass. It lets you know how much they wanted that shit. But I say all that to say this: with the we see the racial stuff culturally changing, slow but sure. But I don't think we put enough emphasis on the gender stuff. And I'm not talking about sexuality, I'm talking about women. The gender stuff, the culture of the culture of women changing so differently and slowly. So Black women in this time, think about what they had to go, how vulnerable they were physically during this time. After slavery, okay? Super vulnerable during slavery, but at least they were property and people wanted to protect their property. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, the master might be wearing them out, but somebody else probably wasn't coming to the plantation wearing somebody else's property out. Do you see what I'm saying? Like as a piece of property, this is no way saying that this is good at all. But just culturally, as a piece of property, because you're a piece of property, I want you to come back alive. If you run away, I want you to come back alive. I want you to, I don't want other people to harm you. I don't want you to get harmed because you have a value to me. When you come out of slavery, that value is not important anymore to me. Now it's all about asserting my authority as a white race, asserting my authority. So now I'm going to use power to harm you. Do you see what I'm saying? Now that's just on a race way. Think about the vulnerability of a woman, a Black woman coming out of that, not having any of the protection of that comes with being somebody's property, but you racially vulnerable. Any white man can come rape you, but also within your community, anybody can harm you and rape you, beat your ass. If you got a husband that's beating your ass, ain't nobody, the white sheriff ain't gonna come in and help the nigger girl that's getting her ass beat. I don't give a fuck about how the niggers are going. Do you feel what I'm saying? I don't care what's happening in the nigger household. you beat your woman. That's what you put. What you do, gal? Was you running your mouth, gal? Any kind of stereotypes? They didn't have protections in the household, so that's why you see in this film. The normalcy of men hitting women. Like men, and I remember growing up, I can imagine it's way worse back in that era, in the 30s. But I remember growing up and seeing men hit women, and the response to it was almost like this is normal. Do you feel what I'm saying? Oh, we had some issues. Oh, I don't even know what was said. But thank you, Brandon. Like when the dudes, like when she was saying that she didn't want to cut strange fruit from her act. The dudes always having to do the negotiation. You got this white man that's your manager that's doing the negotiation, and you got the Black man that's almost like you got three middlemen. Like because you're a woman, you got the white dude that's doing negotiation with the actual club owner. The white dude is talking to the husband, and then it comes to you. But you to act like you got all these motherfuckers in the middle because of the power structure socially. That's fucking annoying as fuck. Then in front of everybody, he's roughhousing you and fucking calling you bitches and beating your ass in front of everybody. Then the other dude beat her ass. Like it was so normal. Like when we saw it in fucking it's a little bit further. This is later in time, but we saw it in What's Love Got to Do with It? You see what I'm saying? Like beating somebody's ass was so normal, and people were so used to minding their own fucking business, where it was so normal that it was kind of like, think about how vulnerable women were in this stage of having no power. They couldn't get credit cards. They couldn't own property. They couldn't get their own houses. They would go to houses by themselves to try to buy shit, and they were like, "Oh no, where's your husband?" Like, you had to be fucking married. Motherfuckers act like being married is so amazing. Like it was just this amazing thing. That's what was fucking stupid and crazy about the marriage equality, about the sanctity of marriage. Y'all motherfuckers didn't give a care about marriage. Y'all didn't give a care about marriage. Marriage was fucking to enslave women. To me, now that we ain't got our niggas to sow the seeds, bitch, you gotta fucking make babies. Make me some fucking sons so we can go out here and tend these farms. You gotta take care of the house because our niggas was taking care of our babies and cleaning the house for us. And now we ain't at that. How dare you think we gonna clean? How dare you think we gonna clean the house too? That's nigger work. It's stories that I've read about white people, not even when slavery was over, white people not even want to go and get their fucking water because that was considered the nigger below them. Didn't even want to go get their own water. And so when it got so bad, yes, I need to have my wife clean the house. So then the rules of what a woman is supposed to do, you're supposed to clean the house. Now we got a patriarchal rule that says, oh, you got to clean the house. That's your job as a woman. Keep a household clean. And you know, black folks was riding with it because of church. Not that that's a problem, but you see how socially it started to be pushed to control women. It's socially just started to be pushed that, oh, we ain't got the slaves to clean. The white woman ain't the pristine Christian lady of the house. And all she need to do is sit back and be pretty. We ain't got our niggas to do the work. Now you gotta, especially poor folks, now we gotta have women in the house cleaning. So we need to push a narrative about them cleaning. Do all these motherfucking commercials and paper ads of all that kind of stuff. Let me see. Me too. My granddad used to hit my grandma, and she never defended herself, and that was in the 90s. It's so glad that you said that, Brianna. I remember one of the tensions between me and my grandmother. My grandmother always been like a mean person, so I didn't really. She wasn't always, she was always mean. So that I don't think our personalities would ever came together. But in my mind, one of the tensions was my grandfather used to hit her, and I had already dealt with that with my mom. But her, I'm like, you don't even need to be with this fucking nigga. Like, you can just kick his ass out. You can send his ass back to jail. He on parole. Call the police. That motherfucker can go back to jail since he can't keep his motherfucking mitts to himself. Since he can't keep his mitts to himself, send that nigga back to jail. And I gotta come in as a 8, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old child and try to be in the middle of it. Now, my grandfather never hit me. I think my grandfather had a queerness about him and he admired it in me. I think. Speaking of that, he's the one who introduced me to not Ella Fitzgerald too, but Billie Holiday mostly. Whitney Houston, Billie Holiday, those were his people. And he would give me the albums, and I could sing it and mime it, and Honey Babe be doing drag shows. Then that's God shall get. And he would live. Like, he was never somebody who deterred me from my queer shit. He was never that. And so he never really put his hands on me. But he definitely put his hands on my mom. Not my mom, my grandmother. And so I really was angry at my grandmother because I was just like, why are y'all dealing with these men? Why? I just didn't understand it. Ella Fitzgerald was probably the best singer I've ever heard. Um, Ella is an instrument. She is a there was never anybody like Ella, and I haven't heard anybody similar. I've heard people, do learn from her and take what they've learned and done things their own way, scatting and stuff like that. But Ella, there's nobody who I can just pinpoint as like the greatest singer because I like singers for different reasons. But Ella is definitely in my top five. Definitely in my top five. She's just definitely my top five scatter. Like as far as jazz, that definitely number one. As far as scatting. But definitely using her life as her voice as an instrument, she is one of the greats. Um, yes, but let's talk about that too. So Ella Fitzgerald. So Billie was the druggie, was the junkie. Okay, Billie Holiday was the junkie. She was the one who was, in the papers. Motherfuckers were like, oh, why don't she just like that, like the character that Leslie Ryan plays? That's actually a combination of two characters. That's not a real person. That's a combination of two different people made into one person. They were talking about why don't you be like Ella Fitzgerald? Like Ella Fitzgerald because she followed the respectability politics of the world. She was seen as the lady of song, the lady of da 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 da. There was just some politics that was just she was following, but she too went through as a black woman went through bullshit. She was orphaned and they put her in a fucking home that was molesting her in a fucking boarding school, weird shit. That fucking the pain that we hear in these women's voices is because of what I'm talking about, of women being in such a black girls, particularly black girls being in such not just black girls, but especially black girls. Being in such a vulnerable state that it didn't matter where they were vulnerable to the whims of white people, vulnerable to the whims of men. And so it just gave them, and there was no solace. There was nothing to kind of protect them other than going along with the rules. And that didn't necessarily protect them, but it protected them, some a little bit. Do you see what I'm saying? Even Ella Fitzgerald, it didn't even save her from being, from being protected from the bullshit of the world. When she got older, yes, but in her younger years, she didn't. She didn't get protected like that. Yes, Desiree. And she had the white bestie to have. Absolutely. She had Marilyn Monroe, who was literally making motherfuckers, if she can't come and be a part of it, I'm not going to be here. So I'm going to be out. Forcing the issue. We had people like, yeah, she sure did. Mm. Karen Clark, Twinkie, Kimberell. I love Ella. Yeah. Yeah, I like those people. Um, she treated her entourage like trash. What do you mean by that, Brittany Powell? Don't forget there wasn't birth control either. Women were trapped in having 10 to 12 children, sneaking, having abortions. It's always been birth control. It just hasn't always been actually manufactured birth control. Motherfuckers was doing abortions. But everybody didn't have access to them. She really played the shit out of this role. She lost all the weight to get down to this heroin addict size. I loved it. Let me see what other points that I wanted to make. And really, I really want to stress the icon that Billie was before it was popular to become an icon. You know, this was in the 30s. This was not in the 60s, y'all. This was in the 30s. So this was this was 30 years before this. Before the changes and the upheaval that we saw in the 60s, she is the celebrity like Martin Luther King, like the Malcolm X, like Nina Simone during that time. She is a celebrity that was pushing the narrative that this shit that y'all are doing is wrong before it was popular. This lynching shit, this what's going down with y'all killing motherfuckers is wrong and it's not okay. And the image of her being a junkie was sold in the newspaper to discredit her. How she left them when the tour bus broke down, when she ditched the big girl in the restaurant for the man. Yeah, that is true. When she didn't pay them but was buying drugs. Definitely true. But they wasn't staying with her because of they were benefiting. Whether it be for a little while, she might turn up at times, but they were benefiting from being her entourage. Just like now with celebrities now. Being an entourage, it comes with some perks. It comes with the travel. It comes with a place to stay. It comes with some things. So not saying that, not to say that the shit that she did wasn't trash. She was trash. But in that regards, but there was some benefits. They wasn't just, oh, I'm not going to get paid. It may be getting paid this time, but when it's good, it's good. And I like how they show the nuances of her queerness. That's another thing. I hate fucking queer erasure. There are so many powerful women, particularly from this age. When we talk about Bessie Smith, Billie Holiday, when we talk about this early 1900s time, particularly from this day, that were making fucking money and queer as hell. And when people talk about them, they erase their queerness. They erase their, like I just said, some of these motherfuckers would be just queer lesbians if they didn't need fucking men so much to do shit. If they didn't need men so much to navigate the world, particularly around business shit, they probably would be just with women. But I like how they brought in that movie star actress, what's her name? Tallulah. Not Tallulah. I don't know her name. The white actress. She was a bisexual, and she was rumored to have messed with Billie Holiday. But she was played by a girl with the red hair in the film. Yeah. Tallulah Bankhead. Yes. Thank you. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like doing the whole erasing. It was erasing the queerness was has been quite annoying for me, because we always talk about now in our time the visibility and, oh, we got these people who are openly da 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 da. We've been having those people. We've been having these representation of queer folks that people have demonized. We've been having that. And we would have had more if people were able to be them fucking selves. And it's quite annoying. That shit is quite annoying because I feel like we have missed out. Ugh, gross. When he licked his blood off his arm. Bleh, yuck. Natasha Lyon. I love Natasha. Yeah. That was an interesting how did y'all feel about that scene? People who have watched it, how did y'all feel about the scene when she came in to Lula's apartment and they wanted to go up to the room together and the black elevator dude didn't let her go up the stairs, even though Tallulah was like, "Oh yeah, she can come up with me," and he was like, "You're not about to make me lose my job. Don't put me in this situation. Don't." How did y'all feel about that? I know your initial reaction is like, "Oh, look at this coon," but we talking about a time when this would be considered a good job, and you trying to be a rebel and come in with this dyke shit, this swirling dyke shit. Not only y'all homosexuals, y'all doing this miscegenation. Is that what it's called? Is that the word? I think that's what it is. You were doing this miscegenation, girl. Mixing the races and dyking, bitch. You get the fuck up out of here, about to make me lose my job for this bullshit. How did y'all feel about that situation? I don't know. I can't say that I fought him, but I can't say that I fought her too. A harsh reality, but I understand. Billie and Tula wouldn't volunteer to pay his bills. Facts. Facts. They sure wouldn't. I remember when Langston Hughes folks was trying to do the same to him. Yep, facts. I think black people had to get that understanding with each other then. Facts. That's another thing I love. I love the scene where she's putting the black polish on her hair. I love that scene because I remember the documentary about Josephine Baker and how that was an important thing about her look. Um, One of the unique things to do, she would slick it all down with that paint, with that polish, and put a little swirl right here, and it'll be all slick like a helmet with that polish. And I love that they show Billie doing that. He looked like he wasn't proud he had to do that after she ran out. Yes, I love that moment. I love that they included that moment in it because it shows, because I do imagine there being some things where I got to do this, but I don't want to do this. Y'all remember when they were having the uprising for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and whoever else the police done killed? um, I love those videos where the black officers are being secretly recorded. Yes, it was Shoe Palace. Were being secretly recorded, and you can see them either mouthing Black Lives Matter, but they're on the line with the police. Um, it's wild. It's I always like them videos, or when the police, when the protesters are saying something to the police, and or the black officer, and that black officer is like, "I feel what you're saying, but honey, I'm at work. That black paint was heavy in her hair. It was giving me olive oil from Popeye's cheese. It was. But that's how they used to do it. They used to talk about how shiny and slick and black it used to be. That was the look, honey. Honey, Gorilla Glue for the 30s, baby. Tessa Brown, who? Yeah, I felt bad for both. If they got caught, they both would have went to jail. True. It would fuck their eyes out. Yeah, it just, nowadays I feel like, like when I look back on my particular life, I look back and I'm like, God, I really had to be strong to do what I was doing, where I was doing it, when I was doing it, blah, 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 blah. But then I look at people like Billie and I look at people, who were in these times and how they had to be strong and the nuances of their life. And I'm like, God, I don't know if I could have did it. I like to think that I would just by the spirit that I have. Like, because everybody is like, they would have did this, they would have did that. Oh, they couldn't have been this. But, I can't imagine me seeing a motherfucker hanging motherfuckers, burning them to death. I can't imagine that not put no fear in your heart. I would like to hope that I would have um, some bravery and courage. I would like to hope in certain situations, but I can't see it not affecting me or interfering some kind of fear in me. You feel what I'm saying? I can't imagine seeing somebody being hanged, seeing somebody getting their foot cut off, seeing somebody having horses rip their body apart. Um, seeing like what's it called? Um, Emmett Till, like seeing that body, and made me like revealing his body. Like when people were saying telling her not to, but she was like, I want them to see what they did to my baby. Um, I don't know how those things would have affected me in regards to inducing fear. But clearly there was some people who didn't give a fuck. I don't care. You're not gonna have. I'm still gonna be free. I'm gonna keep running. You can cut my feet off. You can do whatever you want. I'm gonna still try to get up out this motherfucker. And there were some people who was like, no, I'm just trying to live. I'm not trying to go up against the grain. I don't have time for that. I ain't got time to be getting beat up. I ain't got no time for getting hung and mutilated, whipped and beat. I'm just trying to go with the flow. So I just can have a normal little slave life, little regular, little black life. How they treated Billy is similar to how they did Paul Robeson. Absolutely. The government literally banned them as entertainers and tried to. But Billy had it worse because she was a woman. Absolutely. And she had it worse. This is another element of the show. That niggas ain't shit and they ain't been shit. Because a lot of the motherfuckers that was in her life, wasn't, as far as men, wasn't fucking shit, man. They always been the fucking weakest link with the snitching and with the setting her up with the playing her about her money. Like it's so much fucking shit that I'm like, God. And that's another thing. Like you were so vulnerable to the fuckboy shit. So vulnerable. Did y'all watch? This is a whole different movie, but I don't know if y'all watched it, but Stephen King's Dolores Claiborne with Kathy Bates. Remember when she had planned on leaving that nigga and she went to her fucking where she had been working for Vera fucking Donovan mean fucking ass, and she had been working all them many fucking years, and he had been molesting her fucking daughter, and she worked all them years, and then finally she get the money to fucking leave his ass, and she go, and this nigga done spent her money just cause he her husband. That type of shit. You so vulnerable. Women were so vulnerable to that fuckboy shit. You get what I'm saying? They were so vulnerable to more so now. I mean, not more so now. More so then. Now it's a little bit more freedom. You can have your own bank account. You can have your own shit. You can, you're a little bit protected from the bullshit. But that situation where this nigga could literally take her fucking money that she worked for because she couldn't get an account because it's her fucking husband. I was so fucking annoyed by that. And that reminds me of this too. She had so many motherfucking snakes. She was so vulnerable to the snakes, so vulnerable to the men, all them fucking middlemen calculating her money and negotiating her money. Remember in the beginning of the movie, they were saying, she's a star now. When she first started here, she wasn't a star, but now she's a star. She headlining at this fucking club, and she should get more of the money at this fucking club. And then the white dude was like, "Oh, I'm working on it." And then the husband, you get what I'm saying? It's so many it's so many between her and the negotiating part, it's so many middle motherfuckers. And so that vulnerability to me was just as prominent as the racial vulnerability. They just had more, it was less interpersonal. What's the name of the movie? Yes, Dolores Claiborne. It's a book by Stephen King, but it is a movie by I don't know who the movie is by, but it has it has Kathy Bates. Jennifer Jason Leigh. Is that the daughter name when she's grown? Yes, if you haven't seen that, Brandon, that's a good movie. And then for them to fucking arrest her on her deathbed. These people are annoying. That shit was wearing me out. No, she plays the daughter. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When she got older. Jennifer Jason Leigh is the old. Wasn't she the daughter as she got older? She better look like Aretha. Aretha didn't start singing until she counted the money and put it in her purse. She didn't play. But Aretha came later. And Aretha had a fucking daddy that was a hustler too. Reverend Franklin, he was a hustler. Deja, did you ever meet my Aunt Roz? Did you ever meet my Aunt Roz in person? Nah, there wouldn't have been a time that you would have met her. Nah. Uh-uh. But I've seen my Aunt Roz was a heroin addict. And one of the great things about this movie and her portrayal of an addict is you can tell that she have been looking at um watching my Aunt Roz. I've seen my Aunt Roz get high and how the physicality of her being heroin high, and she really portrayed it because it's not like a drunk falling out. Yeah, it's not like that. It wasn't like that. It was really slow. It was really slow, and her mouth was very and like it's like a slow itch, and they'll look up, and it's like a how they look, and it's just really slowed down. It's not like falling out because a drunk can be staggering and be fast, but it's kind of like he's just staggering. But heroin is slowed down. It's like they ain't even. It's just slow poke. And I like how she portrayed it. I like how the nuance that she put in it because it wasn't overreacting. Mouth open, like your mouth is dry, lot of itchy. Like my aunt would, she would scratch her neck, but it would be real slow. And then she'll go back. It was she did it. She hit it. She fucking played that role. She earned that fucking Golden Globe. And then at the end, when she was sitting in that bed, her eyes they were like yellow, had jaundice, and was smoky. She was killing it. She was fucking. Audra Day wore this role out. Really, she really, really did. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. And even down to the wire, them niggas fucking with her at why she about to die of cirrhosis. Mm-hmm. She told that white motherfucker, "Your kids is gonna be singing Strange Fruit." Your kids is gonna be singing Strange Fruit, motherfucker. That's fine. I got sclerosis, bitch. I'm about to die. And to think he didn't want her to play it, and she didn't want to play it. She said it was both ways. Both of them didn't even want to play it, but it was meant to be, honey. Cause she shitty. She played it. I like how they changed her teeth. She died in 19. She didn't even make it to the 60s. 1959 at 44 years old. Damn. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. But yes, it was a great movie. Make sure you check it out. It is on Hulu. She just won a Golden Globe for it last night. It was amazing. Like it really was. She was really, really good. She was really good. It was just a great. It wasn't about the music was the backdrop, of course, but it was a. I feel like this solidifies her as a civil rights icon earlier than the civil rights movement. Civil rights icon. You know, dealing with the war on drugs, dealing with civil rights, dealing with the nuances of being a woman, being a black woman, and being an addict. Yeah, she really wore it out. I think it was in select theaters too. Okay, cool. I love it. Jimmy Fletcher regrets his action while working for Harry Anslinger in the United States government until the day he died. Yeah, nigga, y'all they always have these motherfucking snitches. Oh, he wasn't dark skinned. Oh, Jimmy Fletcher wasn't dark skinned. Hmm. I know how I feel about that weird stuff that people do. I don't live for that. I've been seeing this a couple of times. I don't be wanting to say nothing about it, but it kind of wears me out. For example, I think I'm 100% for when it is a dark skinned character that we're playing that we know is a real person, you need to match their color. Nina Simone should never have been played, particularly when it's somebody who is their color is very, very relevant to their story. So Zoe Saldana girl never should have played Nina Simone. Um, but there have been some things that I've seen where light skinned characters were played by dark skinned people, and nobody has made an issue about it. Like when it's relevant. So, for example, Chadwick Boseman playing Thurgood Marshall. If you don't get the fuck up out of here, Thurgood Marshall. The reason why he was his complexion, the privilege of colorism, is one of the reasons why he became, other than being a brilliant lawyer, he fit a particular light skinned nigga, pretty hair look that was more palatable than the dark skinned nappy head niggas. His color was important to his advancement in this particular field of study. Do you see what I'm saying? His color was important to his advancement. So making him a dark skinned brown man was kind of weird to me. But I know how society works. They ain't gonna talk about that. But if it happened in the other way around, it would have been late. I don't think necessarily in this movie that it was that important because that was kind of like a secondary character. But definitely I saw it in Thurgood Marshall. I thought that was inappropriate, and I thought it should have been talked about more because that's you got to point that out in colorism. You got to point it out. You got to point it out when it's happening because that's important to her life, and it was important for if it's important now. For example, Angela Bassett playing is a darker version of Tina Turner, but not so. It's not so different that it would ruin the story. But somebody that's so different, like Zoe Saldana and Nina Simone, or Chadwick Boseman and and Thurgood Marshall, that's a quite different. That's too much of a difference for it not to be called out. Denzel was darker than Malcolm, absolutely. Malcolm X shouldn't have been played by Denzel. Yeah, definitely. But I get it. I get it. That's definitely something that hey Queen. That's definitely something that because if you're not recognizing that these particular characters, the reason why they were leaders because they were light skinned at the time. You know, it was particularly the ones that was in those respectable motherfucking spaces like W.E.B. Du Bois. The reason why he was going to Harvard because he was a high yellow, slicked ass nigga. I think Denzel's color mattered. Yes, Malcolm X was a redhead, light skinned nigga with freckles and shit. Yeah, I think that it's important. Color is important in all situations because you know because if you're not acknowledging how it played a part in people's lives, then it doesn't make sense. When you get around to going through Kim's biopic, they will need a brown beauty to play her early years, and then a sickening Chinese fish with her to play her later years. Get out of here. Stop shading Kim, honey. The man that played Martin Luther King in Selma, like, what the fuck? I don't know. Was that much different? Was that much different? Was was he much different than Martin? I don't think that was enough difference. Mm. Then there's so many, honey. I also want more. I want more stories, child. It's so many stories that out here, and they keep repeating the same shit. How many fucking Whitney Houston biopics are we gonna have? I want. There's so many more stories that we can tell. I want to hear that. I want to hear. Um, yeah, so many stories that I want to hear. I'm tired of seeing the same fucking people get showcased because we get our stories so few times showcased that when one messes up, we ain't gonna see another one for a good one for a long time. Like Harriet. Not that I hated the Harriet one. I didn't hate it. But there were some things I was like, but I didn't hate it. It wasn't as bad as other motherfuckers were saying it was. I want to see Audra as Eartha Kitt. You know who I want Audra as Eartha Kitt? No, you know who I want as Eartha Kitt? I want to see. I actually wanted to see because I think she actually looks like Eartha Kitt. I actually wanted to see Taraji P. Henson, but I just don't think she has the chops. I don't think she has the chops, so I don't know who would play Eartha. There has to be somebody with that strong jawline. Y'all just watch Audra performance of Straight Fruit. Whoa, I am speechless. Yeah, she's really good. She did really good. I liked it. Mm. Beyonce could play Eartha Kitt. Beyonce can only play Beyonce. That's the only time she is doing good acting is as Beyonce playing Beyonce. Now I can say that I did like her in Dreamgirls, but I mean clearly obviously the new cast was Beyonce. Um but but I love her. I'm a stan. I'm Beehive. I love Beyonce, but that's what she's skilled at everything else. But that acting, she gotta do a little bit more. Um, Janet, you know who would play the shit out of Natalie Cole? That motherfucking the girl that played on the new version of Do the Right Thing. What's her name with the pretty eyes? She played on Do the Right Thing. I don't know her name, but the new version of Do the Right Thing. I can't remember her name. Um it's it's uh, just I can't get it. But yes, the girl who something Wise. Is her last name Wise? Is it Wise? I don't know. Not I said do the right thing. Yes. She gotta have it. Yes. Not do the right thing. Yeah, she gotta have it. My brain is gone. Drinking too much for my birthday. Yes, DeWanda Wise. Yes. She gotta have it. Yes. Yeah, I think she would play Natalie Cole. As far as her look, I feel like she gives Natalie Cole down as far as her look. Maybe put a little prosthetic gap in there. Put a prosthetic gap in DeWanda Wise, and you have a good enough Natalie Cole. Put a little prosthetic gap. I think that'll be fire. As far as the look, now I don't know if her acting. I don't never see her bad acting, but I ain't never seen it in like dramatic role where I'd be like, oh, she got the chops. Harriet was filmed cheaply. Hmm. I didn't have any like really big problem with Harriet. I didn't have any big problem with Harriet at all, actually. On Netflix, I don't know what do you mean on Netflix? I'm about to say when I was there, a new version of Do the Right Thing. Yeah, I don't know. My brain said Do the Right Thing. My brain was on Spike Lee, but not the right title. Yes, she got to have it. Yeah, DeWanda Wise, I think she's hot. Halle Berry deserves her flowers for her role as Dorothy Dandridge. Yes, I love that movie. I love Dorothy Dandridge in introducing Dorothy Dandridge. I loved it. I love that. I mean, that was. I mean, Halle Berry, Dorothy Dandridge. They look like fucking twins. Not for real, twins, but they look exactly alike. And she played the role. I loved it. DeWanda was on Underground. She was all right in that show. Otherwise, I hope she's good. If she's good, honey, I would love to see her as Natalie Cole. Natalie Cole. I want to see. No, she's still alive, so I don't want it to. I was about to say Shaka Khan, but I don't want a Shaka Khan biopic until she passes away. Because Shaka Khan, her mouth, Shaka Khan, I feel like it's gonna be like um Kim. Like she's gonna have so much negative to say about her portrayal. Shaka Khan seems like she'll be messy about any portrayals of her. Put some new contacts in Cynthia Erivo, and she would look like Natalie too. Cynthia Erivo with a gap. Okay, she already got a gap, right? Don't she already got a gap? But contacts, I don't know. I ain't buying it. We don't need Cynthia playing any more Black American legends. No shade. She got to have it. on Netflix. Yes, yes, that. The girl who plays the main chick. Yeah, I'm kind of getting tired of, the British folks playing the Black American characters. At first, I was like, oh, the Black people just being petty. I'm like, oh, y'all kind of being petty about that. But then it's happening so much that I'm like, now this got to be some shade, yo. It's a one or two times, but all the Black icons y'all hiring the motherfucking British people. Y'all did it with Martin Luther King. That dude was a British person. Y'all did it with Aretha. Y'all did it with Harriet. Y'all just did it with fucking Fred Hampton. Like all the people, y'all gotta go hire the British people. Now it's starting to be shade. It's starting to be. Now come on, y'all can't find no Black actresses and actors to play the people. It's starting to just be too repetitious. Where I'm like, come on. I think Sherry Shepherd could do a sickening Shaka Khan. What? You tripping? Have you seen Shaka when she was young? Well, shit, Shaka now. Shaka is a beautiful woman. Especially when she was younger. Shaka was a fucking bombshell. Body and tits. Ooh, Shaka was that bitch. British actors are supposedly cheaper to employ. Yeah. Oh, and they don't have any roles over there, apparently, because, it's Europe. They don't have any roles. It's all the Black roles is over here. Worth a damn is over here. I think Sherry Shepherd could do a significant. I'm not reading that again. I don't know why I read that again. Yes, on purpose. They need a Millie Jackson movie. I heard she was a mess. Yes, a Millie Jackson movie. Who would play Millie Jackson, baby? We definitely need Tiana Taylor to play um, Mother Mother Dionne Warwick. That's a no brainer. Them cheekbones, baby, that needs to be them teeth needs to be Mother Warwick. Um, Millie Jackson. Um, who's the new girl? Who's the new? She's a new light skinned singer from Mississippi with some big hair, with a big mouth. Kirby, is that her name? Kirby. I think Kirby could play Millie Jackson. Kirby could play Millie Jackson. I think Kirby could play Millie Jackson. Y'all know who Kirby is? Ari Lennox. Could Ari Lennox play Millie Jackson? No. Personality, maybe. I would. Ooh, I don't know. Ari don't look like nobody to me. But Kirby, I can see Kirby playing Millie Jackson. Y'all know Kirby? Mm. Hey Maria, how are you? Where you been hiding? I'm still cackling at Sherry Shepherd. Child, Sherry girl. Ari playing Fantasia. If y'all don't stop, y'all are being extra. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Ari needs to play somebody. I don't know. I wanna see. I definitely want to see more of Audra Day. I want to see more of her acting. If she can go deep into that, I would love that. Um, Kirby would be a perfect Millie. Yeah, she would. I feel like Kirby would be such a perfect Millie Jackson. Tan her up, not tan her up, not enough to be ridiculous, but tan her enough to be a little down, or a little less pale. Whoa, whoa. Tisha as Millie. Tisha is a soprano. She sounds like a soprano. I would want her. I need somebody with a rougher voice. A rougher voice. I really feel like Kirby would. If Kirby could act, I feel like she would be a perfect. Um, I think Kirby would be perfect. Betty Davis. I want a Betty Davis biopic. Are we talking about white Betty Davis or black Betty Davis? I hope you talking about black. Visually, Tisha Campbell. Big mouth, yellow girl. Yeah, I would still want Kirby because Kirby can sing better. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tisha is Millie. I don't know if I'm not a fan of Tisha's acting. Black Betty Davis, of course. Yeah, I would like to see it. Yeah, I would watch it. I mean, I would watch it. So I don't know who would play her. What do I do? Pointer Sisters. What's the Pointer Sisters? What other song? I know. We are family. What other good Pointer Sister songs is it? I got all my sisters and me. Oh, oh, oh. We are family. What other? That's the only thing. No, that's the only Pointer Sisters that I can think about. Right? Ain't that Pointer Sisters? What other Pointer Sister song is it? Come on, drag queen. Jump in my love. Oh, I do like that. That is a cute video. Have y'all seen that video? That is cute. Arias as Evelyn Champagne. Yeah. I can see that. I'm so excited. Jump. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. Is that it? I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. Is that so? I'm so excited. That's it, right? I don't know why I didn't think about that. I know that one. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. Mm-hmm. Automatic. How automatic go? I know Jump. I like the video for Jump. I really like a video for Jump. Um, how does automatic go? I can't think of. You tried it down there. The Pointer Sisters gave you hits down. I'm talking about that. I remember. I know. I'm so excited. I remember that, and I remember Family, but I don't know nothing else. And I remember Jump just because of the video. He's so shy. Is that it? I don't know the rest. I don't know, but he's so shy. Ain't that he's so shy? That's the beginning melody. I don't know the rest of the words. Okay, okay. I see you. I see. Yes, put me up on my Pointer Sisters. I always mix the Pointer Sister songs up with emotions. I always mix them up, so I never always know exactly which one I'm listening to. Some of y'all suggestions sounds like y'all casting for the lifetime. We're talking big picture. Right. Y'all giving me lifetime casting. Some of them they giving you very who did the motherfucking flex as Michael Jackson? Whoever did that, honey. We're totally automatic. All my systems are down, 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 down. I need to listen to that to see what that tweet is. Y'all are tripping. I still haven't forgiven Flex, baby. That was horrible. Tisha could do Mealy. I could see that. I don't think she looks like her, but I could see her playing Millie Jackson's personality down. I love Lola, sis. Watch your videos on YouTube every single day. I miss you. Yes. I look up on Porter Sister Automatic. Yes. Pointer Sisters. I don't know. I want. Well, who else do I want to see? I want. What non-musical artists would y'all want to see? I want a Diane Carroll biopic, but it might be low-key boring. I met Diane Carroll in 2012. So I have a friend named Jonah, and he is rich. Jonah is one of he's one of like my oldest subscribers, and he has really just become like a in my life friend. And when I visit him, because he is rich, it is in tons of perks, honey. We go to restaurants that I can't afford at all. We go to like, because he's like a broker, like a multi-million-dollar broker. Um, we go to these houses for him to look at, and I'm like, nigga, this is a type of luxury that I didn't even know existed. And so he lives in a like a $5,000 a month apartment, and one of the apartment that he lives in, Diane Carroll lives in, and so we're fucking coming up the elevator, and and this lady walks onto the elevator, and we're coming down, not up. We're going down the elevator. And this lady walks on the elevator, and I say, and I'm trying, because this ain't like out on the street. This is in their living quarters. So I don't want to be the rude friend that my friend done brought me in here, and I'm about to fan out and give you uncivilized fan while this lady is in her apartment. And so I sit there, and Jonas like, Jonas like, hey, Miss Carol. And they have a little exchange. And I'm like, I am just fanning out, and it is so cool. So cool. This is like in 2012. I think it was like 2012. But it was quite amazing. But yes, so amazing. Jonah is also one of the Beach Boys' son. One of the main Beach Boy is Brian. Another another one of the singers is Carl Wilson. He's Carl's son. Super, super nice. Was she nice and beautiful? Yes, she was nice and beautiful. She was so nice. Just a lovely older woman. Lovely, classy, auntie, grandmother, very classy. Like very, I am, I have coins. Crisp, sickening white shirt and just lovely. Auntie pearls, all that. I only got one, Brandon. The most favorite person I met was probably Darren Henson from Soul Food. God, I've met a lot of celebrities. Um, in my time of um, in my time of, I've met like Kim Burrell. I've met. I'm trying to think of all the people. I've met Kim Burrell. I've met R. Kelly, 702. Um, Yolanda Adams. Bun B. Bun B was a regular at my Bath and Body Works. Um, Mary J. Blige, Diddy. I'm sure if you live in New York, a lot of people in New York have ran into these people. Um, did R. Kelly try to get you? I was a teenager at the time, but no, I was with my gay friend, and my gay friend is like 6'4", and we were teenagers, we were high schoolers. And when he saw R. Kelly, he was like, "Oh my God, that's R. Kelly!" Oh. And literally, his big 6'4" big ass. I'm talking about 6'4", 360, falls out in front of R. Kelly on the ground. And remember, this is high school. This is in the 90s. This wasn't. He was doing the shit that he was doing, but we hadn't heard. The public hadn't heard about it yet. So we didn't. Nobody knew about all of that. But he was so gay and so embarrassing that R. Kelly and his little entourage people said, and went out. I was cracking up. I hollered, holler, 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 holler. I was in a Tyler Perry movie. Say what you will, but he pays very well, and craft services was on point. Work. As it should be. Were any celebrities rude to you? No. I've never met I met Robin Givens. Robin Givens came into my Bath and Body Works. Trying to think of who was rude. Was there anybody rude? Not that I know of. Nobody was rude. I met Busta Rhymes. I met P. Diddy. Busta Rhymes was loud, sexy, but he was loud. We were in a situation where we, it wasn't called for being loud, and he was being loud. Um, who else did I meet? Um, I met a lot of celebrities, just random little situations. He was there's this restaurant called Jimmy Cho's or Jimmy Chow's in LA, and I met P P Diddy and Busta Rhymes there, and who else was in there? There was some other people. But yeah. Also met Ashley. Y'all know the trans woman, like the 7 foot tall trans woman. She's like a tourist attraction in LA now. She's actually from the East Coast, like Baltimore, DC area, but she's in LA now. She was in Miley Cyrus performance. Yeah, Glamazon, Ashley Glamazon. I met her there as well. I met Carmen Carrera. Yes, me and Carmen Carrera have done trans events together. Um, so I met her. Most trans people, um, I've like any trans celebrity, I have either met or talked to, like on the phone or in some kind of way met them. I think the only person that I haven't met in person, like we've been in the same room, but actually coming up and having a words, I haven't met Laverne. We've been in the same rooms together, but we haven't actually met and talked to each other. But of course, I've met Janet. I've met Angelica, but I knew Angelica before she was famous. Um, I've been on a call with India. Um, who else? Trace. Trace is from Dayton, Ohio. Prior to her going to New York, she was an Ohio girl. So we have lots of from my youth, lots of friends from my youth are in our inner circle, and we met at the latex ball. That was the first time we met, but we ran across each other. But I didn't know her because she was still a boy at the time that I would have ran across her. So, but post transition, she was, I met her at the latex ball in 2013. Who else? There's not it's very few trans celebrities that I have not met, and none of them were rude to me at all. None of them were stuck up. None of them were, um, no trans person I met has been rude. Well, I'm trying to think of any celebrity. I just haven't had a rude experience with celebrities. Um, Let me see what y'all saying. Have you met Whitney Houston? No, I've never met Whitney Houston. Met a lot of sports people. Definitely met a lot of sports people. Um, I had a few sports people too. When I was an escort, you run across celebrities when you're an escort, kind of on accident too. Like they'll call your ad and you don't know it's them until they come, and then you realize it while they're there. You'll have shit like that. Um, Yeah, no, but I met Carmen Carrera a few times. Yes, 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 I've met her. I'm not seeing Lola in the longest. Have you met Whitney? No, 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 never met Whitney. Um, of course, I know I grew up with Kiki Wyatt. That's a given. Um, I met people through her. Um, Carmen was kind of weird acting. Nah, Carmen, we did an event together um, here in Houston, and she wasn't weird. Not for me. Um, I think niggas give her heebie-jeebies. I don't know who that is. Lola, I never met Whitney, but people would do some serious examination. They can tell these famous people have faked their deaths. 1470 days, space trace. Yeah. You have never met me and don't know me. I remember you from watching Maddie and her commenting to you, giving you advice. Whitney Houston is Gayle King, Oprah's friend. I don't understand that. Whitney Houston faked her death. What? Oh, okay. You one of them. All right. Carmen and I were getting ready in the trailer together. But she said about 3 words to us. I used to run into Jesse Martin at New York McDonald's all the time, and she always made me swoon. Jesse Martin. Who's Jesse Martin? Oh, okay. I don't know Jesse Martin. Who else have I met? I met Tone Loc when I was younger. When I was young. I met him on a Greyhound. I met trying to think of who else. Oh, we are at 2, so I'm about to go. Who else? Mm, trying to think. I've met so many people. I'm sure I forgot to name some, but I've never had a bad experience with a celebrity at all, ever. No kind of rudeness. They're always super nice. They're not always bubbly, but they're never rude. I've never had experience where they were rude. Um, yeah, He was never rude to me. I never had an issue with Buster. He just was loud, but that's because he was with his Judies and they were chilling, but they weren't. Um, but they were obnoxiously loud in a place that wasn't. It didn't seem appropriate for them to be as loud as they were. Um, but what else? I don't know. Nothing else. I met Jacqueline Smith. Y'all know from Charlie's Angels, the white Charlie's Angels that had the black hair. I met her. She was super nice. Super nice. I love Jacqueline Smith. Um, yes, I am doing Amend. If you have Netflix, I am going to talk about on my Friday show. I'm going to talk about Amend. I want to say, hey, I found you from Cat Black's video. Yay! Welcome. Hey, lovely. I would love to meet T-Boz. Never met T-Boz or Chili or anybody in that group. I'm trying to think, have I met any Atlanta people? I was in the airport with Ti. Not that that would be something to brag about, but I was in the airport with Ti. He's very small, very small. Um, but yeah, Atlanta people. I've never. I don't know anybody other than Ti that I ever met. The trolls. Is he trolling? Is you me trolling? I don't know. I don't think he's trolling. I just think he's. I don't know. I met Jason Derulo during what you say. Did he do a hymen check? He would have got. He would got the surprise of his lifetime with me, and I would got paid. My auntie met one of Candy's aunts in Atlanta. Yeah. Trying to think of who else. In New York. Did I meet anybody in New York? No. Celebrity wise? Um, no, I don't remember. I don't think I met anybody in New York, celebrity wise. Um, No. I usually meet celebrities in random places. Houston celebrities definitely in the airport or at like out and about. You meet. Oh, I met Little Webby. He was really nice. Little Webby, before he died, he was really nice. I met him at the Galleria. He was so nice. You know who was? She wasn't rude, but she was very extra. Just Brittany. She's a Houston celebrity. She may not be like a national celebrity, but she's a Houston celebrity. Her name is Just Brittany. She was on recently. This video of her went viral where she's singing one of Rick Ross songs, and then the other girl come back behind her and sing it better, but they picked Just Brittany because she's light skinned. It was like some weird colorism shit. But that's Just Brittany. I met her in person in 2011 before she was on that show. Before she was kind of Houston famous, but she wasn't um she wasn't like we know her now. Not that we, she was Houston famous, and she actually can sing. Just Brittany actually is talented. Like she couldn't sing as good as that girl, um, but she actually can sing, and she actually is talented. She actually in that video, it doesn't give her justice because I've seen her perform. Um, because she's not as a good a singer as that girl. So it makes her seem less talented, even less talented than what she is. But she actually can sing a little taste. Webby's alive, I think. Are you why are y'all saying dead people are alive? What is going on? What is happening? I thought Just Brittany was a rapper. Yeah, she is a rapper. But she sings too. Like she's a rapper, but she sings too. Never mind, he died last year. He was 42. What? Webby wasn't no damn 42. What are y'all talking about? I'm talking about Lil Webby. He wasn't no damn 43. What y'all talking about? They haven't updated. No, Lil Webby has passed away, child. Not that nigga. Not him. Not him. Not that. Mm-mm. Not him. Not that dude. I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Hold on. Not this nigga. Why are they not pulling up the real person? I'm talking about the one he's from New Orleans, but not this old head from New Orleans that just died at 42. Not him. Why is it not showing him? Where am I tripping? Didn't maybe the internet got me, child? Hold on. I'm not talking about this old fat one. Maybe he didn't die. Maybe the internet got me. Not this old. I'm talking about the young, cute one. I thought he had died, but maybe not. Not the old one. The young little, the rapper, Little Webby. Maybe he didn't die. I don't know. But I know I met him at the Gallery Mall, and he was so nice and so, you know how they be nice and just be regular. Um, but no, Lil Webby was nice and personable, like nice and fun. He was nice. Yes, is he dead? I thought he passed away. I thought he passed away. I thought, but I don't see it. I'm looking for it. It's saying he might be still alive. Hold on. It's not saying he died, but sometimes they don't. But he maybe not. Oh, maybe he's still alive. Webby Trail. Is that his name? Oh, maybe he's still alive. I thought that nigga had died. Oh well. The shadiest celebrity I've ever met was Angie Martinez. Me and my friends were so excited to see her, New York youth, and she paid us no mind at all. Stood there waiting on her car. Wow, shady. Shadiest celebrity. Yeah, I don't. There's not been a celebrity. Brittany was the only one that was just weird. She didn't say anything rude. She just was very aloof. I don't know. She might have been a high child. How Diamond younger than me a little bit, and I still know more about Billie Holiday than you. Huh? What is he talking about? I think he's just you and me is just trolling, but he's not being rude, so let him troll. Yeah, I figured he definitely would have one. But yeah, I'm not seeing the child. He might be alive. Boom. That makes sense. So this dude hit me up on ancestry.com, and eh, we're trying to we're trying to kind of make the connections, and he hit me up about one of his father being like one of my ancestors or whatever. And I was like, well, I can't make the connection between my great 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 grandmother Ida because I can't find her on the birth certificate. And he just let me know that my grandmother had Ida not by Daddy Moses. She already had a baby when she was married to him at 13 years old. But he took her in at 30, not 35. Was he 35? He was a grown ass man. But this is back in the day, like the 1800s. Oh, late 1800s, early 1900s. And apparently she um she already had my grandmother Ida by through some type of like not rape, but and he says she already had a baby. And he's giving me the story. He said, your Fanny Bloodsaw already had Ida before she married Moses Fortune. Moses and Fanny was a parent of my grandmother. And that's why me and him, our DNA doesn't match because Annie wasn't Moses's wasn't Moses's child. So that's why some of these people are not matching, because Ida wasn't his child. She already had a baby. She just married him and took the name. Boom. I love to find out some good tea. Baby, Ancestor.com gives you the tea on your people. It may take a little minute, but they give you the tea. Oh, cool. Yeah, we were talking about the movie, darling. Oh, yes, everybody has thumbs up. Um, so yes, y'all, we here 2 hours and 20 minutes, but Ancestor DNA is the tea. And I'm about to go be nosy about my great grandmother business, having a baby outside of marriage. Hmm. But all right, y'all. I will talk to y'all Friday. We are going to watch Amend on Netflix and talk about Amend. It is I think 4 or 5 part series that was really good, and we'll talk about it here on Friday. I would thank y'all all for the birthday love and people who cash app me, people who gave me money to buy me dinner, that kind of stuff. I appreciate you, and I thank you. Mwah. I see y'all Friday. See y'all Friday.